Welcome, Akrites. Today I am reacting to Rev 62 Ubisoft rewrites Japanese history again. And it was a matter of time. And I'm quite interested in what the effed up this time. Let's see. And hope for the best, because it will be entertaining, definitively.
Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today's going to be another Ubisoft related video because every time you think Assassin's Creed Shadows has hit rock bottom, they fall even lower.
Damn.
Today we're looking at another round of controversies involving this game. An art book has been leaked for this game, which includes a lot of new information about this game, including the presence of some very modern audience approved they-them non-binary samurais.
Just thinking about it, if you came up with people in those times with this bollocks, they would effing slaughter you. Because they would think you're a freak.
Top of that, the art book also includes a bunch of historical inaccuracies that are pissing off a lot of gamers, but in particular, a lot of gamers from Japan who clearly have had enough of this game. So this is from the Ubisoft Japan account. This is the latest story trailer that was released on this main account, and you can see the like-dislike ratio. It is absolutely abysmal. 492 likes versus 5,600 dislikes. And you know what's even worse?
And I hope they don't buy this.
About this, it's not just the ratio, it's the apathy for this game. There's no interest in Japan. You have a game that is focused on feudal Japan, and people from Japan are not even interested. That's crazy. Look at the views. 44,000 views in 12 days and only 400 likes. That is absolutely pathetic. So what are we talking about today? So we're talking about this art book that has been leaked, and you can see Grums here sharing the link is in the reply. Maybe I'm not as cultured as you guys might think, but ain't no way I'm clicking on this link. Like, what are we talking about here? But people have pointed out the related posts have been taken down, but a lot of people got their screenshots and video recordings of this leaked art book, and there's a lot to unpack with this. So first of all, one of the things shared is a video here where you can see there's some very interesting language about what's in this art book and how they approach historical accuracy. So they say down here, history has always been the playground of Assassin's Creed, and we take great pride in being accurate and true to the historical timeline and culture. For this game, we doubled, if not tripled, the effort to make sure that we had thorough understanding of Japanese culture in this time period. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they doubled and quadrupled and tripled down on their efforts to get this historically accurate, and we see the results. It's an absolute mess. Now, here we have Madame Savvy with another thread. I believe this is 2 video appearances in a row for her because she's sharing some very useful insights on gaming-related news here. This time sharing a video of her recording what is presented in that art book, including something quite insane. So Assassin's Creed Shadows art book leak features recruitable non-binary character. You'll be able to collect a bunch of misfits, some of which seem to pander to modern day language. So let's watch this clip from Sam.
Come on.
So this is from the supposed art book leak. It is possible that it is fake, of course.
Yeah, it
but
is,
supposedly the Assassin's Creed Shadows art book has leaked. It, of course, gives off story, gives off some background, gives off characters. Now, every character is written very specifically, right? So we have a he up here. We talk about Nawe. She, you know, they use that. But this character is quite interesting right here. Ibuki, free-spirited, rebellious, yet joyful by nature, this recruitable ally is a solitary ronin who comes from a clan of obedient samurai, but now follows a unique moral compass. They were well trained and excel in combat, but always felt constrained by the strict rules and stoicism of the...
Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we got non-binary they-them samurais. How stunning and brave. They really went for the full modern audience approach here. And it's just absolutely insane. Every time we learn something about this game, it just gets worse and worse. And I like how she pointed out, you know, this could be fake. I highly doubt it given the great detail of information that was shared. I mean, I don't know how someone would fake all of this, but the way Ubisoft has...
Nah, it's easy. You have very, very talented people these days that actually can do stuff like that. Basically, how could you fake this? Take a scanner, scan those in, blank this out in the same color as it is in the probably white. Look up the same thing. Just rewrite it in the same art, and it's fine. You don't even have to. This thing, you don't have to delete it. Just Ibuki, it can stay. But the rest, this you can rewrite and just add a word in it. So you could fake it. Do I think that it's fake? Nah, I think this is real.
Acted with this game, pretty much anything is believable. Like, I believe this. I believe they would try to make a they-them samurai
The track record
in
says
a
this
feudal
could be
Japan
true.
setting. I believe that they would try to do something like this. And on top of that, you can see, as always, the Assassin's Creed fanboys are going nuts in the proposed community notes. Now, one of the great benefits of being a part of the system is being able to see proposed notes, not the ones that are live yet. They still have to get enough upvotes. But these proposed notes almost always show a bunch of gaslighting and misinformation. If you go to like a controversial content creator or something, or a poster on X, and you go through the proposed notes, it's always seething, right? Like personal insults, nothing to do with clarifying misinformation or anything like that, or giving context. It's just people seething. And you can see a desperate reach here saying the they in the sentence refers to the Ronins and their habits, not Ibuku.
Nope.
No, that's not what's going on here. They directly refer to this character as they. And every other character you look at, they use he or she. In this case, they specifically chose they, which tells you they're going by this they, them pronouns. And again, for the setting, it's absolutely crazy to think they would try to pull something off like this. But there's a little more to the selection of characters in the art book that raise some eyebrows. This one might be a little bit convoluted, but please stay with me here because I think there's something possibly very odd going on here. So, we have this character, Junjiro, who is this kid right here. I believe they're on the cover of the game, and they're really, I guess, the only kid in this game, right? He's a 8-year-old bundle of relentless positivity. Now, why are we talking about this character? Well, it appears that based on the lore, they're an orphan, and when they were orphaned, they got taken in at a temple by a monk who they now live with. Now you go, Rev, who cares? What's the big deal about that? Well, as Savvy has pointed out multiple times, one of the expert consultants that Ubisoft used for the creation of this game and its characters is someone who has a very weird academic history. So, as she says, I'd like to remind everyone that their expert consultant on Japan for this game was a woman who focused writing about monks and their obsession for young boys. She talked about transgenerational love. I read some of it, and it's a bit disturbing how she frames things. So yeah, having that mindset with this expert consultant, then you look at the character who is an orphan young boy living with a monk, having that connection to her academic work in mind. Do you think it's just a coincidence?
Oh no.
Again, even if it's not.
No. Oh fuck. This degeneracy always comes in. Why? Acolytes.
Not intentional. No. It's another very weird look for Ubisoft. It just shows at the very least they're pretty reckless with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And maybe this person, this expert consultant,
but remember,
had some
lolis
influence
are bad.
on this choice of character and their lore for whatever academic interest they have in trying to blur those things together. And here's the result. So again, it might be a bit of a reach. It's a bit convoluted, but I think it's something worth pointing out because again, I believe Ubisoft could end up in a situation like this because that's just how they operate. It's very sloppy. Yeah. But let's continue on with another aspect of this that is causing a really strong reaction in Japan. So as Francesco points out here, this might indeed anger Japanese people. It's speculated that it was actually Mori Ranmaru who seconded Oda Nobunaga and assisted him in committing seppuku. Seppuku, I'm not Japanese. My pronunciation is never going to be great. Not Yasuke. This is beyond ridiculous Ubisoft. So what they're referring to is this section right here that says the moment Oda Nobunaga commits seppuku, as the Honnoji temple burns down around him, with Yasuke serving as his second. Now, why is that so significant? Well, this role as serving as a second is a very important one culturally for Japan, and especially in that era. Okay, a second is trusted very greatly with this process, and it takes someone who's not only extremely trusted by the individual, it also requires someone with great sword skill, aka a samurai. Now, with this situation, Ubisoft, if this is real, is falsely claiming that Yasuke was the second for Oda Nobunaga, which is not true historically. On top of that, we also have Yasuke, who is not a samurai, taking on a role that would likely be required to be a samurai. It's absolutely insane. You can see some reaction translated from Japanese here saying, quoting what they said in the previous tweet and saying, this point is absolutely correct. If Nobunaga had been beheaded by someone of lower rank, it would have been the same as being killed by an enemy and would have been an extremely great disgrace. So have that in mind. And also, we'll see this post right here, another one from the Japanese side of Twitter, saying to be a second is an unbelievably important role. During this ritual, the condemned person would cut across their own belly, then lean forward for the second to end their suffering with one cut. The swordsman needs to be a person of both great skill and trust. Trust so the person doing the deed will be trusted to not just walk off and let the condemned bleed out after cutting their own belly, but also be of sufficient skill to cut through cleanly enough and stopping to leave a small piece of skin to keep the head attached to the body. It is a dark, solemn ritual that is not something to be taken lightly. And this was in reference to the two posts we just saw, adding additional context. So this entire thing is a very sensitive process, and to be a second, you have to be trusted and skilled. And in this case, we're making up history. We're saying Yasuke was the second. And despite their claims of wanting historical accuracy in the same book, they don't seem to respect history at all. In fact, I believe what they're doing is appropriating Japanese history. They are basically taking away pieces of Japanese history and assigning it to an African that came over to the country. It's very, very weird. Isn't this what cultural appropriation is? Isn't this...
Correct, Ref. You are correct. This is cultural appropriation. But for those people, Japanese aren't real people. Simple as that. They don't care about them because, well, they don't give a fuck. Simple as that. They culturally appropriate everything as long as they see fit. So at the end of the day, no, we are talking about freaking racists that just want to live their life as it is without any punishment for it. So yeah.
It's like the stuff that people screech about on like Blue Sky and in places like that, but they don't care here. You can just pick apart Japanese history to make your samurai, your attempt at a samurai here look cool. You know, you got to rewrite history to make him a samurai, and you have to make him the second here. It's absolute crap, and I understand why people would be upset with this.
Yeah, of course.
But
makes sense.
Let's continue. We also got some more information about that wonderful Buddhist female warrior monk. We talked about this in the last Assassin's Creed Shadows video. They have to be trolling at this point, right? You see this character and you're just like, are you joking me? Because number one, the verbiage they use at the time would not include a female in the first place. But you can see Yaya here. They bring a formidable strength, both physical and spiritual, to any cause. As a dedicated Sohei, a Buddhist warrior monk, she became a fierce fighter. And as pointed out here, they have a monolithic life that is largely one of vegetarianism. Okay? So how would they, unless they ate out the whole village of all the plants, how did they end up a giant and strong warrior? It just makes no sense. And again, we get another clarification translated from Japanese here, saying they can't get anything right. Even the English is wrong. Buddhist monks are called monks and nuns are called nuns. And this guy doesn't look Buddhist at all. He looks more like a Confucian Chinese model. Ubisoft seems to see all Asians as the same. Now, that would make a lot of sense. That's why you have Chinese architecture existing in this game. So I'm not too surprised to see people trying to claim that they'd see all Asian people as the same because they've done it in the game and they got caught in 4K doing this multiple times with all these inaccuracies. But you see what happens here, right? All this misinformation is starting to actually impact how some people think because they don't know anything about Japanese history or they're just believing blindly what they see. Once again, this image has been floating around on social media. And whether the person posting this was serious or not, I have no idea. But people have been genuinely tricked by this image. It's an AI-generated image because obviously you have eyeballs. You can see it's AI-generated. And it's trying to give this idea that there was a rich history of black samurais in Japan for a very long time. And people are looking at this and they're believing it. They're actually believing it to the point you have users like this saying, lots of people don't know that original Japanese were black people. They were the first samurais and ninjas. They taught the Japanese everything. And yes, Yasuke was the most legendary samurai Japan has ever seen. And with the way things have been with this game and some people trying to rewrite history, I don't know if this person's trolling or not. That's how bad things have gotten. I don't know if this person's being serious or not because the whole dialogue here has gone so far off the rails, it makes posts like this seem actually believable.
Yeah, it is.
But on top of that, we're seeing some more gimmick accounts here. We talked about a different example in the last video about Assassin's Creed Shadows. You have another one here, Assassin's Creed Insider. Yeah, they're giving you the ultimate source for news, lore, and update on all things Assassin's Creed. Join our brotherhood to stay updated. Yeah, again, notice something. No blue check mark. No ad revenue for this page. They are doing this for the love of the game. They are actively going out of their way to basically work for Ubisoft for free. That is insane. But this person's not really having a good time recently, and I'll show why. So there was a big discussion about the temples. We talked about that briefly. Some people are very upset about the fact that in the game you can destroy Japanese temples. And some people respond by saying, well, you control the character. But a lot of people also are saying it's just offensive to have it as an option. Where you fall on that, I'm not sure. But there's a discussion about that, and this gimmick account for the game says, I respect Japan, but their society's racism and arrogance are undeniable. They act like being Japanese is some exclusive status, while ignoring the uglier parts of their history.
Ironic.
The outrage over a black samurai, despite historical proof, just shows their fragile superiority complex. Thomas Lockley, is that you?
By the way, proof of this doesn't exist. As far as we know, this was a fetish writer that just wrote Yasuke in it. So, yeah. Maybe I don't know better, but no, there isn't any real proof for this.
Are you on your burner account here, Thomas Lockley? Historical proof of Yasuke being a samurai. Like, please, you're not convincing anyone with that garbage. But you can see, the least racist, anti-racist person you'll ever see, right? Just absolutely attacking Japanese culture and Japanese people in general with these outrageous claims about their terrible, awful history and their fragile superiority complex. Like, my God. But it gets worse. So responding to this user who said Yasuke wasn't a samurai, you idiot, it's been debunked, they responded with this. Shut the F up, you racist little bitch. All you do is jay off to your South Korean superiority complex while screeching like a useless, pathetic worm. Yasuke's history isn't for your dumbass to rewrite just because your fragile ego can't handle it. First of all, projection. The whole thing, projection. And another crash out from one of these accounts who's trying so desperately to prop up this game and its message. And look at the lengths you have to go, the mental...
And I just want to point something out here. As you can see, this guy called him an idiot. Personal attack, Fair enough. Look, shut the F up, you racist little bitch. So instantly attacking, all you do is jerk off to South Korean superiority. A racist statement. Consequently, screening you are a useless, pathetic, warm personal insult. This actually is fine. Yasuke history isn't your dumbest rewrite just because your fragile ego can handle it. So, for one personal attack, there are like freaking one racist and 5 lies. Yeah, equality.
Gymnastics and the cope and the anger you have to go to try to justify your position and Ubisoft's continued historical inaccuracies. It really just speaks for itself at this point. Now, I want to end with one more thing here from Craig, who is sharing once again some information he has from his retail insider who runs 800 plus stores, right? He has shown these predictions from this insider multiple times before, especially in the last year or so, and they've always turned out to be very accurate. So I take this definitely with some trust here. And here's some of the numbers.
Okay.
First of all, before we get to Shadows, Avowed, 167 pre-orders, 36 are canceled. Correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't this game come out in less than 2 weeks? They are cooked. They are cooked. But anyways, AC Shadows, right? Xbox One, 549 pre-orders, 21 are canceled. PS5, 2,200 pre-orders, 363 are canceled. So a total of about 2,800 pre-orders, and about 400 of them are canceled. These numbers show that, yeah, there's interest. Like I've always said, I think this game is going to sell a good number of copies. It's not like Shadows is going to come out and get Concord numbers. No, it's going to be something similar to, I would imagine, Veilguard, right? They're going to sell a good volume of copies. In fact, I think they'll sell more than Veilguard, but it's not going to be enough for their expectations. That's my opinion. I think they've shot themselves in the foot so much and alienated so many gamers that they aren't going to reach their probably very high internal expectations for this game. The amount of copies they're probably predicting to sell is going to be in the many millions, and I don't think they're going to get there. I think they're going to sell maybe 2-3 million, or maybe more. I don't know. But I don't think they're going to reach their expectations. And that's all we can really say for now.
I mean, I don't know if they will sell in the millions. I'm not sure about it. Because I'm going to be honest. Nah, maybe I'm seeing those numbers only on the Steam page. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think it's going to sell. But I hope it comes with
and looking
a
at these numbers, it doesn't inspire
a
ton of confidence, and also a very large volume of cancellations too. But as pointed out here as well, you look at Steam, they just cracked the top 75 pre-orders. Wow, I'm sure Ubisoft didn't expect to outsell Tales of the Shire. Wow, that's a world beater right there. Yeah, they're only 2 positions behind Tales of the Shire, which is another dumpster fire modern audience piece of slop. But that's a conversation for another day. But anyways, yeah, that is the absolute state of Assassin's Creed Shadows and Ubisoft. They are doing everything in their power, day after day, to make this game completely unlikable. And we see the art book, the alleged leaked art book here, just showing further proof they don't respect Japanese history, Japanese culture, or gamers, really. And also, again, it's like every time we just...
No, they just don't respect human beings. It's as simple as that. They just don't see human beings as human beings, but as a collective that they can hate on just because somebody did a mistake. That's all.
Discover something new about this game. It causes controversy. It makes them look bad. And that's a really insane thing to do. Ubisoft is really just licking their wounds at this point and hoping for the best, and we'll have to see what happens when this releases in about a month and a half. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts.
Yeah, Rev, as always, on the point, and I just hope Assassin's Creed fails. That's all I'm going to say to it right now. At the end of the day, we will see. We will see how it will sell. Maybe if it's a really good game, I expect that this shit isn't even the worst thing that will come out of Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, because the gameplay will be way worse than even this shit. So, as it is, Acolytes, Good night.